everybody. It's Ryan Matthews. Flank of Hope is what I'm presenting today. It's my veteran community brand. It's going to be focusing on veteran suicide and raising the awareness to that issue. This is going to be a real company that I will be the community leader in and that I plan on creating here in Pace, Florida. Everything is to size and scale with everything I need to print, and I'm going to actually do it here in the next month or so. So it's very exciting to me. I'm having to do this on PowerPoint, just a heads up guys. So I've never done this before, but I do hear the sound going in and out a little bit. Sorry about that. Here's the project brief. I went with thinking through design, and I did follow roughly what it said I should be doing, and that led me down a very good path of where I should be headed at the very start. Here we will start information and purpose. Basically is going to be an overview of the research I did for my process book for this project, and why Flank of Hope will become a company in general. Alright guys, so the issue at hand here is obviously veteran suicide. From my battle with PTSD, I got out of the military, Marine Corps, in 2012. From my experience, the best thing you can do is be around people. That's where I went with this. That's why it went away from just a campaign advertisement, you know. I decided to go further with it and actually try to create a community where people can have fun, even if you're disabled or not, or if you're perfectly physically capable of, you know, doing a 5K, a 10K. That's why I got these different kind of events I'll be hosting, along with the awareness posters and different flyers and everything. So one of the examples later on in the presentation is actually a camping trip. So the idea will be getting everybody together and in community to have a good time. And most of the time when people are struggling, they don't want to be around anybody else. So that's the key to this place, is kind of keeping people in check, kind of having each other's back and keeping tabs on one another while creating some positive environments. So while I do have a target audience for this project, being military families, friends of the veteran, caregivers of the veteran themselves, this demographic, you know, it really applies to everybody. Everyone in this world can help a veteran, can find a reason to make their life better, find worth in it. Because chances are somebody in your line of family has, you know, either given the ultimate sacrifice or given all they have, and sometimes not giving the ultimate sacrifice is the more difficult route, is coming back and having to deal with everything you face, from PTSD to all the mental trauma and desensitization that you experience in combat, or not even in combat. Just anybody with PTSD, anybody related, anybody that's known somebody, anybody can tell somebody's hurting from it. We want these people to get together, have a good time, and take care of one another. Make it known that it's okay to talk about. That's one of the biggest things, you know. Not everybody wants to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it. So getting the word out there, kind of getting in people's faces with the information, providing somewhere that's a veteran themselves wants to come back to, because I sure as hell don't want to come back to the VA any day I go there. That's just the honest truth. So this is a very good community that will actually be an easy access route to information. So the overview of Flank of Hope and the idea of it all is I needed to start on a smaller scale. Obviously starting on an international or a national scale, or even statewide, is too big of a burden to take on to be successful and efficient when I start out. So the idea is going to be sticking around to the local areas, Northwest Florida, and eventually expanding to the Panhandle, all in Florida, and hopefully for the whole state of Florida and beyond that, because this is something I've thought about for a very long time. But I think there's a massive, which I know there is, I don't think, there's a massive military community with some of the largest bases in the U.S. right here in Pensacola and Pace, Florida. There's no better time than right now to create this group, because the veterans need it, and not only do they need it, there's really no other outlets. You have organizations like the VA and also active military people kind of creating some cookouts and stuff like that, but there's no actual organization. You know, you have Wounded Warriors Project, you have Tel Valhalla. Other than these big national corporations, there's no one you can really like get in touch with that's local around here that will consistently be there for our veterans. So that's the idea. It's going to be building strong bonds, giving a good reason to come out, and having this kind of beacon of light for our veterans to respond to within their community. Here I'll begin to talk about some of the brand identity and mock-ups and the typeface and logos. So I chose Spartacus as a typeface. I envisioned a subtly more interesting typeface in terms of how the nuances interact with each letter form as a whole, rather than concentrating on finding a very good F or H letter form. This typeface instantly became memorable by the way the words play off one another and how elegantly simple it happens. Just the way the whole words work together. They really gave the sense that I was looking for, and the smoothness, the seriousness. It almost reminds me of a serif typeface, but it's actually categorized as sans serif. When you put these letters in caps, though, the little points that come off the edge that create movement, it looks like a serif, and it was just the perfect in between for me to choose. Here we have the finalized logo marks starting at the top. They're actually out of order, so starting at the top, that would be the number 2 or secondary logo mark. The one in the middle, the abbreviation with the shield emblem in the middle, that's our main logo mark for right now. And then the bottom is going to be our tertiary or third logo mark. The second and third are pretty much going to be used for merchandising or different kind of posters, and the middle, the main one, is going to be used on any kind of, as well merchandise, but business cards, any kind of serious lettering, or anything like that we put out in the community. Here with the business cards, I was trying out all the different finalized logo marks with the same backing. I really like the backing I had. It was simple. There's many other ways we could do that, but that's going to be our starting out business card for the back at least. I really did not like the abbreviated FOH with the shield in the middle at the start, but after Miss Wood and a few other you guys commented on it, I started trying it out, blowing it up a little bit in scale, and I really started to like it. It kind of gives you interest as to what it is without really just saying flank of hope in big letters. You kind of want to know, you get this like inquiry that you need to find out what it's about. So that's what I really like. And I actually changed the About Us section to include Flank of Hope on the back of that bottom business card set, because it obviously doesn't say it on the front, just so people can know what they're looking at. Right here is just our finalized business card with our main logo. That's the one I'll be actually printing here in a couple weeks. So I felt a little weird about posting this poster by itself. I wanted to create more. I just didn't get around to it yet, but really I could have created 50 of these things of different kind of events. The idea is actual live photo in the back, an image with text and accompanying logo. Different kind of events though. This title is a little funny. Maybe not everybody understands it, and it's kind of, I guess, vulgar, but not really. Shooting the shit. It's like maybe a top 3, if not number 1 military saying about just kind of talking. You know, people go smoke a cigarette, you're shooting the shit. You go to, you know, clean out a vehicle, you're shooting the shit. So it's not supposed to mean anything derogatory or be derogatory, but it's kind of funny, and it fits our group in the sense that it kind of is. I know everybody will recognize it that needs to be at that meeting, and people will be, I think, more prone to coming if they see it's a little more lackadaisical. So this suicide poster I'm really proud of. On the left, I used the silhouette guy from the process book, and I needed an attention grabber. I didn't want to make the image too huge, overpowering, but I wanted the poster to be empowering. I got the emblem in the bottom right. The text with the numerical number 120,000 is obviously the eye-catching element of this. I think the red is, it does signify blood. I think red, while it means stop, it's going to say stop and look at this. I love the back was blown. It was actually the red I derived the color from on everything else. It was an image of a sky, and I blew it up very large and kind of took some parts away from it and all that and edited it. It came out really well. We got our links in the bottom left, which I actually made accounts for. I'm very happy with this, and I tried to use a mock-up that was kind of close in the setting that it would actually live in. Finally, we got some merch. This is kind of, so many variations of this could come. This is all white, which I just kind of realized at the end, except for the bottles, or kind of off-white hat and shirt down there. I used the main emblem, but I really think blowing up the emblem or putting it on the shoulder, there was a few mock-ups where I saw the position was on the shoulder. I think that'd be really cool. But I think it's working well, especially on the water bottles. I think that's something I would buy, honestly. So there's a lot of room for improvement here, and also options for the future. But thank you all so much for listening to me. Sorry if the sound was a little weird because I'm trying to talk in and out of paused audio from each slide. But I had a really great time making this, and I can't wait to see what the future brings with it. All right, y'all have a good night.